One of the easiest ways to teach abroad as a native English speaker is through a Teach Abroad program. I'm Jamie from ESL Teacher 365, and I taught in Madrid, Spain through 2 of these different programs. In this video, we'll take a look at the official websites to help you to decide which program is best for you. Let's start off with the North American Language and Culture Assistance Program, also known as NALCAP. This is one of the 2 programs that I did when teaching in Spain. And looking through the website, we find out that applications are opening February 9th. I recommend preparing everything ahead of time. And for example, you need to provide some letters of recommendation. You need to have those ready to go, because as soon as the applications open, people are on the website applying, and this program is getting more and more competitive every year. So just prepare everything before applications open. This program is specifically for Americans, but there is a similar program for Canadians, Australians, people from New Zealand, people from the UK, India, and the Philippines. You just need to Google Auxiliares de Conversación and then your country to see if there is one of these programs for you. This is sponsored by the official Spanish government, and you are a language assistant, so you are in a classroom with local teachers. Okay, you'll get a stipend of around 800 to 1,000 euros per month, and you're teaching 14 to 16 hours per week. I taught in Madrid, which is always 1,000 euros and always 16 hours per week. So it depends on the region that you're placed in. Over 44,000 Americans have done this program, and I am one of them. For the eligibility requirements, you do have to have a passport from the US. It has to be valid for the whole time that you are abroad. You need to have a bachelor's degree or associate's degree in any subject, or to be enrolled in a bachelor's program, you can be sophomore, junior, or senior, but you need to have that. A native-like speaker of English, so have that level of English of a native speaker. You have to pass a medical check. You also have to pass a background check and be between 18 and 60. I know a lot of people think about teaching abroad as something that only people in their 20s do, but that's not true. You can definitely teach whenever, however old you are. There are some countries that do have lower thresholds of what they can take, maybe 50 or 55, but some countries allow you to teach up to 60, or there can be no age restriction. So here's just prompting you if you're from Canada. There's a NALCAP Canada website for that too. If you would like to apply, you'll come up here and go to Applying to NALCAP, and that will walk you through the whole process. Here's some information. I recommend reading through every single thing for all of these. You'll find all the information that you need on their websites, but you're going to need some documents. For example, the letter of recommendation and your statement of purpose, transcripts, all of that good stuff. So if you are interested in teaching in Spain and you're from one of the countries that I mentioned, I highly recommend applying to this program. The next program is called TAPIF, and this is for teaching in France, and it is for Americans as well. And I have a few friends that did this program. Applications open mid-October and close mid-January, so there's still some time to apply. For the job duties, teaching 12 hours per week in 1, 2, or 3 different schools. You could be moving around quite a bit. You could be in an elementary school or a secondary school. And interestingly, you can apply to be in France or some of the overseas departments. Here are some options. The contracts are a bit shorter. So for the Spanish program, that runs from October through May or June, depending on where you're teaching. This one is 7 months from October to the end of April. You're going to get about 810 euros per month, but if you're in one of those overseas departments, you're actually getting paid an additional percentage because it's expensive to live there, but it's a pretty cool opportunity. Get health insurance. For housing, if you're teaching in a secondary school, sometimes they are boarding schools, so you might be able to live there. If not, you're going to need to find your own housing. So for the requirements for this program, you do need to be able to speak French. You need to show that you have a B1 intermediate level of French. You need a US passport, and you need a bachelor's degree in any subject, but you don't need a TEFL for this program. You also don't need a TEFL for the Spanish program. If you'd like to learn more about teaching abroad, I am hosting a free live masterclass on December 4th, 5th, and 8th. Spaces are limited, so reserve your spot today by clicking the link in the video description. The next program is EPIK in South Korea. This program is open to native English-speaking countries. So for example, Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, the UK, the US, and South Africa. And there's a special agreement for Indian citizens if you have a teaching certificate in English. So this is not a TEFL or a CELTA. This is you're an actual licensed teacher. You also need to have a bachelor's degree from one of those countries, and it can be in any subject. There's a medical check you need to pass, and you need to be interested in the Korean culture, of course. The pay scale is interesting. It depends on your qualifications, so what kind of degree you have, if you have a TEFL or not, and where you are placed. This is a program where it is valuable to have a TEFL certificate before you apply. This program offers a lot more benefits than the French or Spanish program. For example, you get a settlement allowance, accommodation, severance pay, completion bonus, renewal bonus, all sorts of different benefits. In general, in Asia, you'll find that there are more benefits than in Europe. In Europe, you're pretty much on your own. They usually give you health insurance, and that is about it. Let's take a look at your duties. You are also assisting in the classroom, so you're helping a local teacher. You might be doing some conversation classes. You have to prepare the lessons. This is pretty similar to what you would be doing in France or Spain, but the pay is quite good, and so are the benefits. If you want to teach in Japan, your program is the JET program. Let's look at the eligibility requirements. First of all, they want you to be interested in Japan and its culture. You need to have a bachelor's degree or higher. For the nationality requirements, it's a bit unclear in this part, but I'll show you down below where it's more clear. And they do have some other requirements, like you can't have lived in Japan for 6 years or more since 2014. Just take a look and make sure you fit all of that. Here we go. This is where we're looking for the countries. So you have to have a passport from English-speaking countries, and they do also include places like the Philippines, Singapore, Jamaica, all of that for English-speaking. But if you are French or you're German or you're Chinese, you can teach those languages in Japan. So it's an interesting program where non-native speakers can participate because you're not teaching English. Here's some information about the application process. It's all written out, but basically October to late November, early December, that is when they are accepting applications, but it varies by your country. Then you'll get a notice. This is how it works for a lot of the programs. You're going to apply, but then there's a whole different process. Maybe there's some interviews here. For example, interviews held at Japanese embassies and consulates. Often the visa process can take a while. So make sure to read through every part of these websites to get a good idea of the different timelines. Another option is to teach in Taiwan through the Foreign English Teacher Program. They have two different options. You can be a foreign English teacher or a foreign English teaching assistant. We'll look at the eligibility requirements for each and then the differences in the duties. So first of all, you need to have a passport from a country where English is the official or common language. I'm guessing that this would include countries like Jamaica, and not just the 7 native English-speaking countries. You need to have a bachelor's degree, And for this, you do need to have some sort of teaching qualification. That could be something like a US teaching license, or it could also be a TEFL or a TESOL. Here's some more information about that. You also need to pass a police check. For the foreign English teaching assistant, the main difference is that you don't need to have a TEFL certificate or a teaching license. Same thing, you need that passport, you need a bachelor's degree, police check, but nothing about a teaching qualification. Let's look at the job description. For the foreign English teacher, you are cooperating with Taiwanese teachers, so working 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. So this program is a lot more intense than the one in France and Spain. It's a lot of hours. You're co-teaching with them up to 20 periods a week, preparing lessons. The teaching assistant is the same hours. You're doing very similar things, but also helping with different school activities, performances, projects. So it's a little bit different. I recommend going to the website and reading the difference between the two different options. For the payment, also going to be a bit different. Here you have some information. Depends on your degree. So if you have a bachelor's degree versus a doctorate, it's going to be different. Flight reimbursement, housing allowance, performance bonus, overtime pay, health insurance. Let's take a look at the teaching assistant. So this is just one set pay, which is interesting. Okay, and then a lot of the other similar benefits. So again, places in Asia do offer much better benefits than in Europe. If you are dreaming of teaching abroad in Italy, then the program for you is called CELTA. You'll be teaching as an English language assistant. Here are the application requirements. This is a program between Italy and the US. You need to have a US passport. You also need to have a GPA of at least 3.25. You need to have a bachelor's degree or master's degree, and an Italian major or minor is preferred because they're looking for teachers who have a knowledge of Italian. They're looking for candidates with previous teaching experience and some experience studying or working abroad or some sort of cross-cultural activities in North America. That is seen as a plus. If you're not a US citizen, you are welcome to apply if you're fluent, but you need to have a high school or bachelor's diploma from North America, which is interesting. Here's some information on how to apply. First of all, you have to go through your Italian department. That's why they're looking for people who were Italian majors or minors. There's going to be internal selection in February, online applications in March, and the acceptance and contract late March to late April, and then you will be applying for your visa. If you want to teach in the Czech Republic, this isn't so much a teaching program, but it is a group called Academic Information Agency, and they are going to place teachers in public schools, in public primary and secondary schools in the Czech Republic. You can apply using this online registration form, and basically every new school year, they are going to give a list of possible candidates to schools, and the schools are going to decide who they want to teach. For the qualifications, you do need to have a university degree. You also need to have some sort of qualification in teaching English as a foreign language. So a TEFL certificate is required for this program. They're also looking for teachers with previous experience if possible. If you are a non-EU citizen, you do have to get everything notarized. That just takes a bit longer. A lot of these programs, you will have to get documents notarized. Here's some more information if you have, for example, EU citizenship. Teachers are required for the entire school year, which is September 1st to June 30th. And it's full-time, so about 24 teaching hours per week. Some more information on primary school. And here is the salary that you're going to get. so similar to Czech teachers, but you have to pay your own travel expenses. Again, Europe, they're just not going to give you those benefits like Asia with all the flight reimbursements. You're not going to have that. Accommodation should be arranged by the school, but it can be quite limited. And you can also get meals at your school. So this is a good option if you're thinking about the Czech Republic. The final program that I'll leave you with is the Fulbright US Student Program, and they have English teaching assistants. But this one I won't go into too much detail because the 2024 to 25 competition is already closed. If you're interested in teaching in 2025, then I recommend taking a look at this website. But this program is extremely competitive. The application process is really intense. I applied for this. I didn't end up getting it. I went to Egypt with a Rotary scholarship instead, but it is an option. This one, you are kind of proposing where you want to teach, so it's open worldwide. But if you are a US student, meaning that you went to a university in the US, I definitely recommend checking out the Fulbright program. Which programs are you most interested in? Leave a comment down below. You can find me on Instagram at ESLTeacher365 and check out this video if you'd like to learn about TEFL certificates. Happy teaching!